overcome? Just a moment here. Yeah. Perhaps the most important question of all is that how do we then overcome karma is something we will discuss. What did Yogananda ji say about that? So let's begin with the prayer and chanting and a brief meditation. Heavenly Father, Divine Mother, friend, beloved God, great masters of self-realization, Jesus Christ, Babaji, Krishna, Lahari Mahashai, Swami Shri Yukteswar Ji, beloved Guru, Paramhans Yogananda Ji, saints and sages of all religions, we humbly bow before you all. Beloved God, great masters, we thank you for your presence and your grace in our lives. Through our awareness, self-effort, and your grace, help us overcome all karmic ties and bondage. Going forward, may every action of ours be soul liberating, bringing us bliss, freedom, freedom from our own habits, fears and limitations, freedom from past actions, and may we gather ever new victories for our soul in your name. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Let us chant together. First of all, let's sing this beautiful chant. Night has flown, dawn has come, wake, my children, wake. Sitting in the asana of meditation, think ye of thy Guru's lotus feet. Night has flown, dawn has come. Wake, my children, wake. Wake, my children, wake. Sitting in the asana of meditation, sitting in the asana of meditation, think ye of thy Guru's lotus feet. Think ye of thy Guru's lotus feet. Night has flown, dawn has come. Wake, my children, wake. Wake, my children, wake. Sitting in the asana of meditation, sitting in the asana of meditation, think ye of thy Guru's lotus feet. Think ye of thy Guru's lotus feet. Night has flown, dawn has come. Wake, my children, wake. Wake, my children, wake. Sitting in the asana of meditation, sitting in the asana of meditation, think ye of thy Guru's lotus feet. Think ye of thy Guru's lotus feet. Night has flown, dawn has come. Wake, my children, wake. Wake, my children, wake. Wake, my children, wake. Wake, my children, Oh God, beautiful, 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 oh God, beautiful. At thy feet, oh, I do bow, at thy feet, oh, I do bow, oh God, beautiful, oh God, beautiful. Oh God, beautiful, oh God, beautiful. In the forest thou art green, in the forest thou art green, in the mountain thou art high, in the mountain thou art high, in the river thou art restless, in the river thou art restless. In the ocean thou art grave, in the ocean thou art grave. O God beautiful, O God beautiful, O God beautiful, O God beautiful. At thy feet, O I do bow, at thy feet, O I do bow. O God beautiful, O God beautiful, O God beautiful, O God beautiful. To the serviceful thou art service, to the serviceful thou art service, to the lover thou art love, to the lover thou art love, to the sorrowful thou art sympathy, to the sorrowful thou art sympathy, to the yogi thou art bliss, to the yogi thou art bliss. He Hari Sundar, He Hari Sundar, He Hari Sundar, He Hari Sundar. तेरे चरण पर शीर्ष नमो, तेरे चरण पर शीर्ष नमो. हे हरि सुंदर, हे हरि सुंदर. Bano bano me shamal shamal, sing with me. Bano bano me shamal shamal, giri giri me unnat unnat, giri giri me unnat unnat. Sarita sarita chanchal chanchal, sarita sarita chanchal chanchal. Sagar sagar gambhir hai, hari sagar sagar gambhir hai. He Hari Sundar, He Hari Sundar, He Hari Sundar, He Hari Sundar. Tere charan par शीर्ष नमो, तेरे चरण पर शीर्ष नमो. हे हरि सुंदर, हे हरि सुंदर. सेवक जन की सेवा सेवा कर, सेवक जन की सेवा सेवा कर. प्रेमी जनों के प्रेम प्रेम हरि, प्रेमी जनों के प्रेम प्रेम हरि. दुखी जनों की हरि वेदना भेदना, दुखी जनों की वेदना भेदना. योगी जनों के आनंद है, हरि योगी जनों के आनंद है, योगी जनों के आनंद है, हरि योगी जनों के आनंद है. To the yogi thou art bliss, to the yogi thou art bliss. Oh God beautiful, oh God beautiful. Oh God beautiful, oh God beautiful. Oh God beautiful, oh God beautiful. Let us now meditate together, friends. Let's sit upright to begin with. Get away from the back of the chair. Let's take a double breath. Tense the body, bringing in energy. And as you breathe out, also gather any tensions in the body and breathe out and expel them. You can close your eyes now to concentrate better. Let's do this one or two more times. Each time, feel a greater relaxation, release from any tension, greater energy, wakefulness, alertness. Now, sitting up straight, draw the shoulder blades behind. On this beautiful Sunday morning, let's lift our gaze to the inner sun, the spiritual eye. Mentally scan the body for any tensions in the shoulders, hands, abdomen, the position of your legs. Release those tensions. Breathe diaphragmatically. And now let's focus on the heart center where we have awakened devotion through our prayer, our chanting. And now bring your devotional aspiration from the heart up towards the spiritual eye, as if from outward, now you're going into the inner worship. As Yogananda ji said, try to now interiorize yourself as you begin meditation. Leave all thoughts, worries behind. And one pointedly, let's now, in a relaxed way, practice any technique of meditation we may know for about 10 minutes. Keep a few minutes in the end to sit in silence. Let's meditate together now for about 10 to 12 minutes in silence. Now, continuing to keep our eyes closed, let's listen to the words on the subject of gratitude by Swamiji. He writes, gratitude is a way of returning energy for energy received. Only a thief takes without paying for what he gets. And one who accepts a kindness without returning gratitude, as though the kindness were his by right, demeans both the giver and himself. He demeans the giver because by ingratitude he implies that the kindness was inspired by selfish motives. And he demeans himself because by giving nothing in return, he breaks the cycle of creativity, without which prosperity's flow, both materially and spiritually, is blocked. Accept nothing inwardly for yourself, but offer everything to God. Don't let yourself be bought by others' kindnesses. Be grateful to them above all in your soul by blessing or praying for them. Give gratitude first of all to God, from whom alone all blessings truly come. Please affirm with me, friends, loudly at first, then in a normal voice, and then as a whisper. I give thanks to the giver behind each gift, and to the one giver behind all that I receive. My gratitude rises with devotion's incense to the throne of omnipresence. I give thanks to the giver behind each gift, and to the one giver behind all that I receive. My gratitude rises with devotion's incense to the throne of omnipresence. And now, silently, I give thanks to the giver behind each gift, and to the one giver behind all that I receive. My gratitude rises with devotion's incense to the throne of omnipresence. And inwardly let us pray. I thank thee, Lord, for all thy blessings. But most of all, I thank thee for thy love. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Please, you may now open your eyes, or of course, you can continue to keep them closed. I'll now go into the reading for this week from the beautiful book, Rays of the One Light. I would highly suggest you keep a copy of this book, friends. Why is that? Well, there are 52 readings over here, 53 actually in this book. And, the more I, let's say, give these satsangs, the more I realize that it's wonderful to touch on the theme, you might say, on Sunday. But we could choose then that theme for our lives. Like today, you will see it's I personally found this to be, you might say, multi-layered, a very big subject, to put it simply. And it requires further reading. It requires practice, contemplation, application of whatever we are reading. And for that reason, I think it'll be nice to go back to this book during the weekdays on our own. So here's the reading for week 48. This is also by Swamiji. This is called The Law of Karma, Bondage or Soul Release. Truth is one and eternal. Realize oneness with it in your deathless self within. The following commentary is based on the teachings of Paramhans Yogananda. The epistle of Saint Paul to the Galatians contains this oft-quoted statement. The epistles were his letters, his counsel that he wrote. This was, of course, Saint Paul of the first century. And often called the 13th apostle or disciple of Christ. He writes, "Be not deceived, God is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap." In Autobiography of a Yogi, Paramhansa tells a story from the life of the Banaras saint Trailanga Swami. A skeptic once determined to expose Trailanga as a charlatan. A large bucket of calcium lime mixture used in whitewashing walls was placed before the Swami. "Master," the materialist said in mock reverence, "I have brought you some clabbered milk. Please drink it." Trailanga unhesitatingly drained to the last drop the container full of burning lime. In a few minutes, the evildoer fell to the ground in agony. "Help, Swami, help!" he cried. "I am on fire. Forgive my wicked test." The great yogi broke his habitual silence. "Scoffer," he said, "you did not realize when you offered me poison that my life is one with your own. Except for my knowledge that God is present in my stomach, as in every atom of creation, the lime would have killed me. Now that you know the divine meaning of boomerang, never again play tricks on anyone." The well-purged sinner, healed by by Trailanga's words, slunk feebly away. Yogananda goes on to say, "The reversal of pain was not due to any volition of the master, but came about through unerring application of the law of justice, which upholds creation's farthest swinging orb. Men of God realization, like Trailanga, allow the divine law to operate instantaneously. They have banished forever all thwarting cross currents of ego. Not by reason alone, but by self-realization are the ins and outs of destiny fully understood. Their web, though tied forever to the post of ego motivation, is too intricate to be perceived as a single thread. Only great masters can see it with clarity. It is visible to them in all its workings, not from within the tangle, but from above in super consciousness. As Sri Krishna said in the 4th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, he who beholds in action and action in inaction is wise among men. He is one with the Spirit. He has attained the true goal of action, perfect freedom. Thus, through Holy Scripture, God has spoken to mankind. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Well, good morning once again. Before meditation, I was seeing there were 50 participants. Now I see it's 60. It's wonderful. Thank you for coming in such wonderful numbers. And by the way, as some of you may not know, this satsang is being broadcast simultaneously for our congregation in Ahmedabad primarily, and also because Pune does the satsang at the same time, we decided to have a group satsang, a combined satsang. So welcome to all Guru Bhais and welcome to Devendra ji. So now perhaps you can see, friends, why I was saying this book or today's reading has so much. And we have a good about 20-25 minutes to, you might say, try to understand this subject. And I'll touch on certain themes, you might say, of this subject of karma. Well, first of all, what is karma? I think we have all heard this word easily. We've heard the word nowadays, popular instant karma. There are, if you go on YouTube, sometimes this video will come. Somebody does something to somebody and just like moments later, life gives it back to them. I have seen the naughty videos, like, you hit somebody here and then some cycle hits you here. But I'm sure good things happen also. You perhaps give somebody your food and somebody else offers you something, And then there is this neutral side of karma that you may not realize, but things are happening around you which directly don't come in our conscious awareness. So what is karma? Simply put, it is, Yogananda ji said, energy that you have put out. We think of it as action. It takes the form of action. So, like I said, you do something and then you notice, hey, sometimes exactly the same thing happened. The same thing came back to me. Well, as you know, as yogis, Yogananda ji explained that energy is what motivates or makes outward things possible. So, what is behind the action? It's the energy. And then Swamiji used to tell us, he said that much physicists know, but he said soon they will discover what the yogis have been saying. What is energy itself? Energy is concentrated thought. And so, what's behind the energy you set out? A thought. So, a thought that you put out is going to come back to you. The energy you have put out sooner or later will come back to you. And the action you have put out also does find you. Why does it find you? Swami gives the explanation, and I will go in more detail. He says, because karma is tied. All of our karma is tied to the pole of ego. I have individual karma. You must have your karma. Families have group karma. Nations have, Swami says, national karma. That's why each country is different in its way, culture, thinking, application of a discovery, so many things. And Swami says these are all realities that if you look, you will find them over there. So all this karma of action, energy, thought is tied to our ego. Now, here's the interesting thing. Where do thoughts come from? Many times we don't stop to think. We think, well, of course it's coming from me. Well, it is coming through you. But where is it coming to you from? Yogananda writes about it. Thoughts are not produced in your chemical brain. The brain itself is an instrument through which the process of thinking, coherence, is, you might say, biologically facilitated. But he said, where are thoughts coming from? He says, thoughts are produced from consciousness, what we call chetna. So if we stay in a certain state of consciousness, our actions and thoughts are of a certain kind. If we stay in a high state of consciousness, they are of a high kind. People will say, hey, he or she has good karma. They always have good thoughts, good energy. I feel that energy. I like the things this person does or this group of people do. Why? Because their consciousness is of a certain kind. So everything that flows through them is good. So ultimately, here's, you might say, the important thing. If we want to overcome our karma, yes, we can work with the actions, and we must. We can work with the energy and the thoughts. But above all, working with consciousness is where the change really happens. And above all, you might say, getting out of ego consciousness is where you and I can feel a sense of freedom. I'll give you a simple example. I'm sure you've been to places, or perhaps sometimes to people, saints particularly, if you have had the good fortune. I had the good fortune of being around few. And you go with a question, you go with actually sometimes a very important question that's going to decide the direction of your life. But the moment you're there, it's as if that question doesn't matter anymore. And you're confused. I remember the first time I met Swamiji, I forgot my questions. So the second time I wrote them on a paper and I pulled them out, and then I was asking, but even as I was asking, I thought, this is so futile. Maybe I should be doing something else right now, because yes, it's true. I had those questions and dilemmas and problems, you might say karmic problems in my life. But somehow over there, it didn't seem like important. Or let me put it in another way. As I was asking him the question, I also knew the answer. And somehow I had the greater ability to act on that answer that my soul knew. So instead of bothering him, because Swami's health was a bit fragile towards the end, I would say something and I would say, and yes, and you, maybe I should do this, no? And he would say, yes, that would be good. And, so it was more like, come on, Aditya, why did you write all this? Of course, the most important thing that was happening was to be in his presence. But you see, the point I'm trying to make is we have to get past the ego, whatever it takes. In that chant I was singing, oh God, beautiful, Guru Nanak ji, those were primarily his words. Yogananda then adopted the chant. He's writing, he's saying that to the lover, you are love. To the serviceful, you are service. To the yogi, you come as bliss. To somebody who is suffering, God does come in the form of sympathy. Even if it is tears, don't we feel lighter after we've wept, we've said something? Where is that feeling coming from? Where is that ability to, you might say, unburden ourselves coming from? These are all hidden, you might say, aspects of duality that God has put. And through each of those, we can find some, you might say, soul release. So let's now, in a little, you might say, stepwise fashion, understand what is karma and where is it coming from. And I want to just ask Devendra ji, if I can, or maybe I can do it from my side, I can have the gallery view. Oh, good. Now I do have it. I don't know if I'm still spotlight for you all, that's good. But for me, it helps to see everybody. And I'll invite you, friends, to please turn on your video as much as you can. And because it then helps to make eye contact. And if you're too confused, I'll slow down. If you're enjoying it, I'll continue in that line. Thank you. So what is karma? I said, well, it's something that we have put out and something that comes back to us. Let's ask the question, where does karma begin? Well, on a philosophical level, you may say it begins the moment, now the question is, whose karma are we talking about? So let's simplify it. Let's talk, okay, when did my karma begin? Well, when I came into existence. When did I come into existence? And what is this I am talking about? I'm talking about the ego, myself, my karma. So Yogananda ji said the soul, which is God, a part of God is called soul. He said the soul identified with the body is how he defined the ego. So my ego is God. When he became, I identified with myself. And like my parents would have said, oh, this is a little boy, let's call him Aditya. So you might say that in this life, that is the beginning of a journey from the past. Then I grow up and I say, yes, I am Aditya and I like this, I don't like this. But the journey has been continuing from much before. Actually, Yogananda ji confirmed this. He says the scriptures are true when they state that when a soul has been cast into creation, it goes through 4 essential stages. In manifestation, in creation, every soul, or you might say God, goes through this journey on 4 primary levels. First is the mineral form, rocks and metals and minerals. Yogananda ji one time told his disciples, they were just sitting, and he said, I remember all my past lives back to when I was a diamond. I mean, it's amazing. He started the line by past lives and he closed it by saying, when I was a diamond. What does that mean? That it starts in the mineral form, the soul, or again, let me simplify, God becomes, when he comes into creation, he becomes the mineral form, rocks. That's why they say God is sleeping in the rocks. Or like Guru Nanak was saying in that chant I sang, thou art high in the mountains, in the forests, thou art green. It is God. Ultimately, God alone exists. But then let's understand, in the rocks, his consciousness is limited or solidified or crystallized completely. You don't see a rock jumping. You don't see a rock moving by itself pretty much. But if you put an electron microscope on it, you will see a lot of movement going on. And if you're more interested, you can go back to that chapter of J.C. Bose in Autobiography of a Yogi, where he showed that metals and rocks also have life. Now, how long is the age span of a rock? Somebody asked Swamiji. And they said, sir, that's a long incarnation. And Swami says, I know. And he said, isn't it amazing to marvel that once cast as a rock or a mineral, how long it stays like that? Who knows? I don't know the answer. And Swami was not giving any definite answer. But as we know, it's a long aspect of it's a stable aspect of the manifested creation. So it's a long, long time. Then Yogananda ji said the soul moves into the plant kingdom. Plants are a little bit more expressive. They move, they respond to sunlight, water, nourishment, music. And he says the soul, God, finds himself in more movement. There is still no karma, by the way. Third, after many, many incarnations as plants, Yogananda said 5 to 8 million incarnations are spent by the soul in the animal forms. That's a staggering number right there. But sometimes I console myself to think that some animal species just live for a few moments, minutes. Yes, of course, some live even for centuries, like elephants. But Yogananda said dogs, cats, elephants, horses, he says they are very close now for the soul to incarnate as a human being, which is why many of these animals also have such refined feelings. By the way, at this stage, Yogananda ji said, around this stage, he says group karma starts acting. So you start seeing animals in groups, in herds, in flocks. There is a family cohesion, but of course, and there's an understanding. Let's say there's a male, female, a little child, but there's no I, my child. Swami used to often tell us that he said, you see let's say a dog with a broken foot. And he said, you may feel very bad. You may feel pain on his behalf. But he said, remember, the dog doesn't have enough ego, like you and me at least, to say, oh, my foot is sprained. He knows the foot is sprained, but my foot, it's not a very refined thing. So there is, of course, pain. We should try to relieve it, but it's nothing close to how human beings feel. And so that brings us to the fourth stage. After mineral, plant, animal, Yogananda ji said the soul finally gets a human birth. And in the human birth, as we know, we have a special evolved spinal system, and we are given the individuality of the ego. And this is where you might say the next phase of the game begins. We start saying, I. Go back to the baby Aditya. Aditya, this is Aditya. I like this, I don't like this. And two main factors in human incarnation which will decide whether we will go back into God consciousness, which is always hiding inside us, or continue on the journey of happiness and sorrow in the human body. The two main factors, Swamiji used to say, are the heart's feelings and the strength, the grip of the ego, which is sitting at the medulla, the grip of the ego on you. So let us say something happens to me in life. Let's say somebody pinches me. And I say, well, I think you pinched me without any reason and I don't appreciate it. And why can't we just be friends? And the person says, yeah, I'm sorry. I just didn't like you. So I thought I'll pinch you. But now that I realize you're having a very kind nature, I would like to be a friend. So you see, some karma came towards me. Instead of reacting, I responded intelligently, calmly. My chitta, my feelings, and my ego was not involved. Oh, you pinched me. How dare you pinch me? You know how my arm is hurting? And now let me show you how much it's hurting by pinching you back. Now, again, Krishna says, sometimes if you have to defend yourself, you may do so, but he always suggests calmness. Even in war, he's saying calm anger should be applied. Be calm, because if you're not calm, you're emotional, your chitta is disturbed, and in the moment it looks wonderful. But you're planting the seed for the next wave or cycle of action. And how does this work? Well, we are getting prana inside our body. We are sustained by prana. So let's go back to the time when you and I had just maybe perhaps had our first few incarnations as a human being. And Swami says, when you go through life, God has made it so engaging and enticing that you look at something, and let's say you look at a wonderful house, and you say, what a beautiful house. I'd like to buy that house. I'd like to live there. Now you're going to spend time, energy to make that desire get fulfilled in 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. Some desires, of course, do not get fulfilled. You want an ice cream, you can fulfill it in 2 minutes. You want a Mercedes car, it may take 10 years to fulfill that. You may have some desires which, for whatever reason, which are beyond your control, do not get fulfilled in that incarnation. Now, what is that desire? We may think, oh, it was all in my mind. I will not think about it. Well, you may not think about it, Swami says, but in your energy body, in your astral body, where ego and chitta, feelings, come from, they are elements of the astral body. Swami says that energy which has gone out, again, good energy, desire of some kind, desires can be good, bad, and neutral. He says that energy which has gone out through the medulla and the heart and the chakras, if it stays out or if it is unfulfilled, it is only a matter of time before you will be compelled once again to engage in it and to try to fulfill it. Swami used to give another example. He says, in our spine is our entire past lives. And so you have, let's say, come on the spiritual path. You say, okay, I will not create any more karma. I will now burn up our karma, my karma, which is, of course, exactly what we should be doing. And Swami says, here you are happily going on a street one fine morning, and suddenly you see a camera in the store. And you say, oh, what a beautiful camera. This is the latest model. Oh, such a beautiful day. You know, if I had this camera, I could capture this day and I could capture all the beautiful moments in my life. Now, on one level, it's not a bad desire. But Swami says, again, you start thinking of how can I get that camera? You labor towards it, you finally buy it. And he says, you forget sometimes that you were perhaps happier without the camera than you are in the process of buying it or after you've had it. Now, this is not to say we should not have a house, we should not have ice creams, we should not have a camera. The point is, you are, remember, the soul which is on a journey through all those stages, through the human incarnation. And now, at any point, if we say, the soul says, oh, my happiness is out there, in good things or in revenge, whatever, Swami says you will always be going back and forth. And this is the reason time itself is a creation out of consciousness. That's why in the Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna says, I am time, I am Kala, I am space. So in you and I live in space and time. Something we have done in the past, it's like a pendulum. It goes and then it comes back. So it takes time. Sometimes it could be 1 minute. Sometimes it could be one incarnation. And Swami says, when you're finally trying to find God, it could be the sum total of all your past incarnations. That is why he gave us Kriya, to become aware of the energy. Is my energy going out? Is it in? And with that energy, how can I be aware, first of all, and again, not just one time, be calm. Respond to life instead of reacting. Be proactive. Be solution oriented. Introspection on a daily basis. Why did this happen to me? Was I emotional? Did it make things better? Did it make things worse? How could I have dealt with this? And how will you know that you have overcome a certain karma? You feel a sense of freedom. I felt extremely good after my math exams were over in school. I was not good at math. I used to be like a nightmare. So the moment I would somehow pass it, I would be like, okay, I have done. Now this test will not come back to me for another year, because I did my part and I jumped over the, you might say, fence. Good karma, you look forward to it. It does not seem like any challenge at all. Now, Swami writes over here that, and I want to read this one line from this beautiful book. Because I said it's a deep subject, Demystifying Patanjali, one of the books that Swami wrote towards the end of his life. And, this got an international award. And there are many times where karma is discussed in this book. I want to read one. This is towards the end. Patanjali writes, of ego motivated acts, only those vasanas or subconscious impressions for which present conditions are favorable bear karmic fruit in any particular incarnation. That on one level, it seems philosophical that our entire past is in our spine. Then you say, where is it? How come I don't feel it? How come I don't remember it? I don't see it. Well, as the sage, as the father of yoga himself is saying, that at a particular moment in the company of a particular person, at a particular stage of your life, with the favorable conditions, that action will sprout, that seed will sprout, that desire. Just like Swami was saying, this boy is happily walking down and the store has displayed its camera and he's caught that it was the ideal condition for a past desire to be fulfilled. So let's keep this in mind, that on one level, it doesn't seem very fair of God to have created us, given us this ego, the feelings which got disturbed in the process, which is why here we are aspiring yogis to free ourselves. But remember, friends, the freedom we are seeking is not so much from outer things. When you're free, outer conditions simply don't have a sway on you, because you're inwardly free. You have no more impulses. You have calmed yourself. You have transmuted those desires. You have perhaps burnt the seeds of karma itself. What are those seeds of karma? They are the energy feelings in our spine, Swami says. And through the flow of devotion, through the flow of Kriya Pranayam, and by the way, service, prayer, chanting, anything which takes your energy up, and with awareness, if you offer it again and again and again to God, you will see that that karma gets burnt. Swami says it gets resolved. Duality ceases to exist at the spiritual eye. And then he makes that beautiful comment that in the reading, that the yogi, the man, the wise man who is able to see action in inaction. What is action in inaction? Let's say you're meditating. It seems like, why is this person not doing anything? Well, you are doing a lot of action inside. You're taking care of desires, unfulfilled karmas of past lives. You're becoming aware of them. You are picking them up. You're offering them breath by breath. One breath, Yogananda ji writes, properly done, the Kriya breath, burns up 1 year's ordinary living's karma. One breath. I mean, that is the amount of action happening in what is looking outwardly like inaction. But it requires a wise person to understand that and see that, he writes. Similarly, inaction in action. What does that mean? A saint is acting outwardly. Let's think of Jesus Christ, Krishna. He was in the world and he was tremendously busy. But was he creating karma? Not at all. They have no ego. They have no desires and impulses. Hence, there is no karma over there. So there is no action. There is inaction in what looks like action. And again, now you and I should not feel that, oh, when will I reach that perfect stage? Yogananda said it is by doing that we will reach there. So when you're acting, try to, like Swami used to say, nishkam karma. Instead of seeing your work, of course, I'm sure none of you do that, but seeing it as greed or just for money, just for name, fame, or position, say, I'm doing it as a service. Life has given me a skill. I want to share this skill with others. What will others do then? They will reciprocate and they'll thank you and they'll give you some money. Perhaps they'll give you some goods. Perhaps they'll share their visiting card and skill. They will say, oh, thank you for helping me. I'd like to help you. Please remember me someday. So you see, it's karma right there. So think of it that way. Think of, God, I feel challenged around this particular situation. Why? Because maybe we didn't put enough energy in it in past lives, and try to resolve that karma. Try to develop that strength. Ask for God's help. You can put the blame on him that, my Lord, finally, now that I have found out these things happen, I've already gone through a very long journey. So you must help me. And he does help you. How does he help you? Yogananda said 75% of your work is done by God and Guru's grace. You have to do only 25%. And he said, but that 25%, do it with awareness. I would really recommend you, friends, to read, because when I read this topic, even though I've been reading these books for 13 years now, I said to myself, this requires fresh thinking each time. This is not like I know about karma, I am doing kriya, I will burn it up. It's not just knowing, it is the freshness, the am I perceiving it? Am I taking my kriyas that seriously? Am I perhaps creating more karma? I mean, look at that side also. Because as long as Yogananda said, I won't go in that detail, but breathing or heart activity, he said, you're creating karma. But forget about those things. Our more important thing is to, again, I would say, work on two things. Yogas chitta vritti nirodh. Calm the heart. Even if bad karma is coming or a lottery of good karma is coming, just calm the heart. Say, okay, it has happened. I accept it. Ego. It is happening through you to a form. Don't personalize it. It's happening to me. If the less you say, I am suffering, the better off you will be in burning up the karma. So, anyway, I want to leave you with those thoughts. And let's just take half a minute to reflect, to interiorize these teachings of Yogananda ji. Let's sit up straight. Let's inwardly call to his presence and thank him for, first of all, making us aware of these realities. And then let's inwardly ask for his help to guide us every day, to bring us greater freedom every day. That freedom will bring us ever more clarity in our actions and practices. And ultimately, through our meditative practices, our spiritual understanding, and the grace of God and Guru, may we find freedom in this life. May we act with freedom while we are living. Let us ask for this inner blessing for all of us, for all devotees, for all people. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. I'll just bring the candle now before you, singing the chant Shri Guru Deva Om. This will be an arti. Or Devendraji, would you like to rather chant and I show the candle, if that will work for you? No. Okay, so I'll do this, friends. I'll just sing. And let's invite the grace of the masters as we sing this together. Shri Guru Deva Om, Shri Guru Deva Om, Shri Guru Deva Om, Shri Guru Deva, Amen. Shri Guru Deva Om, Shri Guru Deva Om, Shri Guru Deva Om, Shri Guru Deva, Amen.